Okay, okay. Nice top five, man. And you got Pac in yours, and I got Pac in mine. Gridlock. How did that come about? You being in that movie with Pac?
Gridlock. Gridlock was my manager at the time managed the director of the film, I think. Yeah. At the time, my manager at the time managed the director. So it was easy. It was one of those quick little Hollywood hookups. You know what I mean? Yeah. Being on set for Gridlock was wonderful memories, man. Wonderful memories. There was a lot of talent that I didn't know, but I knew was gonna be epic. You know, the wonderfully talented and just such a super cool person, Lucy Liu. That was one of her first projects, and of course we had Tandy Newton on there, and of course, Pac, and just we just had Tim Roth. He was such a great talent. Um, we just had such a good cast there. And Bondi was very passionate about his vision, man. He really knew what he wanted, and he got some great performances out of people. I thought it was shot just wonderfully. I thought it looked great. It was a special time, man. It was a special time to be a young black man who wasn't from LA but was navigating Los Angeles and had been segued into a nice picture with these new people who I didn't really know, but I had a sense was going to be, big time, and it was cool to be a part of it.
How was Pac on set?
Hilarious. Pac was, yo, that dude has so much energy. It was crazy. It was crazy, man, because he was working like, he was like, yeah, I was just in the studio until, some ungodly number, and then I just came in the set. I'm like, damn. He's like, yeah, and after this, I gotta go do a reshoot on some other flick that I shot before, and then I'm going to the studio, and then I'll be better. I mean, it was nonstop. I was like, this dude is, he's very inspiring. That's one of the first times I got the idea about multitasking was from talking to him. You know, uh, yeah, because I mean, he was doing a lot of different shit, and it kind of that planted a seed. That yeah, you could do that. You could be in the studio and then on set and then doing reshoots for another flick and then have to go do a music video and then come back and do the movie that you're doing. But you could do all that. It's possible. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Underrated movie, man. And I always said if you want to see Pac range, go look at Gridlock or even game related. Because you already know when people bring up Pac movies, they bring up Juice and Above the Rim and Poetic Justice. But I always say that, man. Go look at Gridlock if you want to see his range.
No question about it, man. I mean, he did a great job in that role. He was fantastic. And it's just great to work with him. You know what I mean? And see him do his thing. His style was like, it's almost like he doesn't want you to know how much he's prepared. You know what I mean? Because he can go from casual conversation and they say rolling and he's dialed right in. You know what I'm saying? Some people, they got to like walk around the room and like smack themselves or whatever, get into the zone. He could just be having a conversation like this and then roll. Pardon me one second. Hit the mark every time.
When you would be on set with him, did you and him have any kind of, personal convos about life or?
Oh, tons, tons. That's what we did. We just chopped it up constantly. You know what I mean? Just chopped it up constantly. And he uh he has some great wisdom to share. He was generous with the wisdom. You can listen to his lyrics and tell he's not gatekeeping the wisdom. You know what I mean? He wants you to know stuff. Wants you to know stuff. You feel me? Stuff about the industry, stuff about some people that you might think is an ally within the industry as far as like he gave me some great advice about um socializing with folks in the sense that like the person that you hanging with is ultimately probably one day going to be somebody you're competing against for the same role, you know? And some people are going to be cool with that and some people not. You feel me? Like some people, like me, I'll be somebody that's cool with that. Like if you get it, great. I'm happy for you. Yes, I would have loved to have gotten it, but it didn't work out that way. I'll probably get the next one. But some people, it's a lot deeper than that. And he helped open my eyes to that a little bit earlier than, you know, if I had to figure it out for myself. You know what I mean? And some people will get next to you just because they want to assess your technique. You know what I mean? So they might come with a hand, you know what I mean, to shake your hand. And you gotta watch out for the hidden dagger. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, he was really, really great about just watch out for this, watch out for that kind of shit, you know?
At that time, how was he personally? Was everything good with him?
I mean, a little bit. I just got the sense that time was like, just wasn't enough time, you know? Like he just, like even when we were hanging out, he was constantly looking at his watch. It was just like time was the issue. I don't think he had any other issues. Time and you know, he laughed at the haters. That shit was funny to him, you know. I mean, that's since I got. He wasn't worried about haters. That's like part of the game. I think it was just time. Like I think he wished he had more time. That's the only thing I got a sense of.
I want to ask you this about Pac, and I know Pac passed away, but if you can give me your honest take, I'd love to hear it. Honestly, you work with a lot of legendary actors like Mark Wahlberg, Eddie Murphy, Jamie Foxx, Anthony Mackie, Vin Diesel, Robert Downey Jr., Nicolas Cage. How does Pac measure up against them?
I can't think of any actor I've worked with that I would really necessarily put above him because you know his approach is so authentic. You know what I mean? Like his approach was the stuff that a lot of great actors go to school for and this, that, and the other. And he went to school for it, but they uh, they uh, they can't. If you don't have a certain, here's the thing: if you haven't had certain experiences in your life, it's almost impossible to be 100% authentic. Um, you know what I mean? It's very very hard. Um, I think he had a breadth of experience in life that a lot of actors that I've worked with just haven't had. You have to understand some actors have been kind of like nepoed in, you know, like because their uncle or their dad or their granddad was somebody special, or some actors they might have other means to achieve certain kind of success, but you know they bypass certain life experiences because, you know, like if you start acting at a certain age, you could just be ushered into the acting thing and you're kind of insulated from the rest of the world in a way, depending on how you live your life, right? But Pac had, you know, such a wealth of real life, real world experiences that he was able to infuse into his work that, quite frankly, some of the top people that I've worked with, they don't have that kind of life experience. So they're not able to bring certain things their to their thing. They do a great job of getting close to it, but it's not necessarily the same level of authenticity, you know. And even if you put yourself through certain unnecessary stuff in the pursuit of depth of experience or to gain a wealth of experience, and so you put yourself through unnecessary stuff, it's not the same as not having a choice and having to soldier through certain circumstances. That gives you uh, a different approach to the scene. You know what I mean? And so he had that.